A child coughs once. Just once. And upstairs, everything stops. Boots freeze on the wooden floor. Dust falls slowly from the ceiling. A mother presses her hand over her son's mouth. So tight, he can barely breathe. Above them, a German soldier whispers, "Did you hear that?" Silence. Then, a knock comes from below the floor. Poland. Winter. 1943. A lonely farmhouse surrounded by dead fields. Snow covering everything. Inside, German soldiers live upstairs. They eat. They laugh. They sleep. They have no idea what is beneath them. 20 inches under the floorboards. A woman and her 6-year-old son are buried alive. Sarah and Daniel. No light. No standing. No escape. Only dirt walls and silence. Absolute silence. Because one sound means death. At first, Daniel cried every night. Sarah held him so tightly she could feel his heartbeat breaking. She covered his mouth every time he coughed. Every breath had to be controlled. Even swallowing felt dangerous. Upstairs, Boots walked above their heads. Sometimes slow, sometimes angry, sometimes drunk. Sarah began learning them. One heavy limp, one dragging heel, one fast, nervous step. She knew them better than their own families. Weeks became months. The air underground turned worse. Mold, sweat, fear, the smell of human survival. Daniel stopped asking when they would leave. That silence scared Sarah more than his crying ever did. Because children don't adapt to darkness, unless something inside them breaks. One night, everything changed. A soldier stood above the pantry, completely still, not moving, just listening. Minutes passed. Then he walked away. The next night, he did it again. And again. Always the same spot. Always above them. Sarah stopped sleeping. Daniel started coughing again. But this time, he couldn't stop. Each cough echoed like a gunshot underground. Sarah pressed her hand over his mouth until he shook. Upstairs, the soldiers kept laughing. They played music. They drank. They became careless. And carelessness kills people hiding below floors. One night, scratching began. Beneath them. Slow. Deliberate. Like fingernails digging through earth. Daniel woke instantly. Sarah didn't move. She couldn't. The scratching lasted for an hour. Then stopped. In the morning, the dirt wall was disturbed. Something had been digging toward them. Then came the knocking. From below. 3 slow knocks. Daniel almost screamed. Sarah froze completely. Because there was no below beneath them. At least, that's what she thought. Days later, the truth began to surface. Another person was down there. Another woman. Trapped in a second underground chamber. Alone. Starving. Losing her mind in darkness. She had been digging blindly, trying to reach a human voice. And somehow she found them. But there was something worse. A German soldier knew. Not all of them. Just one. He had felt it. He stood above them every night, listening, waiting, testing, like he could hear something beneath the floor, but couldn't prove it. Then one night, he brought a knife into the pantry. Wood creaked above them. Boots knelt down. Something scraped between the floorboards. A crack of light broke through the darkness. Sarah saw it. Daniel saw it. And upstairs, the soldier went completely silent. Because he saw it too. Then chaos. Screams upstairs. Boots running. Furniture breaking. Gunfire outside. The war had reached them. The soldiers were evacuating. Within minutes, the house emptied. Silence returned. Real silence. For the first time in 2 years. Hours later, the trapdoor opened. The farmer's face appeared. Old. Broken. They're gone, he whispered. Daniel couldn't stand. Sarah couldn't speak. Neither of them knew how to exist in light anymore. After the war, Sarah never talked about the floor. Daniel grew up afraid of silence. Afraid of enclosed rooms. Afraid of anything above his head. Because survival doesn't end when danger leaves. It stays inside the body. Forever. And the farmhouse? Years later, it collapsed into the earth. But people nearby still hear something strange. Knocking. From beneath the floorboards. Slow. Patient. As if the war never finished. As if something is still waiting to be found. And maybe the most terrifying truth is this. Sometimes survival doesn't mean escaping. Sometimes it means being buried inside the memory forever.